was selected. We've seen it a couple times, actually 3 to be exact. I believe the record was 1 and 3. Suns fan here with Cinderin. That guy's Cinderin.
It's me.
BetBoom versus Team Spirit, game 3 of this best of 3, and as Shiver said, very important series, and I would say especially for Spirit, they pretty much have to win to keep their hopes of upper bracket potentially alive. If they lose, then it's all dependent on other people losing, and they try to get some tiebreaker that way. So they want control in any capacity. They're going to have to get out, get a win out of this game number 3. But nobody believes in the Meepo, Cinderin, and I can't blame them. So it seems like a really weird pick.
BetBoom definitely have shown that they know how to play with it, because they have the only win on the hero this tournament. It's 1 and 2, and the win was the game that Miro was referencing with Chen. But yeah, this one caught me off guard as well. I feel like there were other options that were more obvious. I really liked the Weaver suggestion. That one looked quite good to me, but maybe I'm underestimating how much you can get destroyed by Tiny in the game. Weaver has got quite a bit tankier over the years, though, so I wouldn't have been opposed to that pick. But let's see how this all plays out. GPK on the Storm has not lost in this group stage. I believe he's 5-0, so that's the kind of hero-player combination you want for the deciding game.
That is fair. There's a blood grenade onto Miposhka. Miero continuing on. No hoof stomp, but Phoenix will be forced out of lane for the time being. All right, we can talk about some of these heroes. Let's go back to the Meepo, of course, as we have a pause, so plenty of time to discuss this, of course. Thank you so much to BetBoom. They haven't paused in a few days, though, so they did have one in the bank. This is Midas mode, after all. Their Discord, I swear to God. Something with their Discord's messed up. But, yeah, the Meepo. The way that I look at it, it's definitely good at killing egg. I remember when every time I see a Meepo, I think of Weehaw. Back in the day, Cinderin. We got very close. And Meepo is kind of a double-edged sword to some degree when it comes to, or Phoenix's double-edged sword for Meepo, because it's a good egg killer, but Sunray is actually quite good against the Meepo. Provides that miss chance.
Yeah, that's new.
A ton of HP, a ton of percentage HP. What do you mean it's new?
Back when Weehaw played against Phoenix, that wasn't a thing.
I'm not saying it was.
No, but that was your reference, right? But that counter, or that interaction between the two heroes is it a year old by now?
It's older than that.
Sunray blind? 10% per second. So if you're blinding for like, what realistically, let's say you start against the Meepo on decent range with your egg. Maybe he connects on it after 2 or 3 seconds. 20 to 30% miss chance can make a huge difference.
Yep. And on top of that, Primal Beast, not too bad against them. Tiny, I mean, it is a support Tiny, but still. Got some AoE to work with. And Lifestealer very good at solo killing heroes in general. And then even if you get open wounds, it spreads to the other Meepos potentially. So, not sure what the pick's all about, but Nightfall's going to show us.
Or not.
Something up their sleeve. Especially when there's the Mega Meepo. Open wounds should destroy him.
Yeah, I don't think this hero is particularly good against Lifestealer, but I'm ready to learn something new here.
Or not. Especially
based on the way that Lifestealer has been built, right? I think this Armlet Radiance is actually super good against Meepo.
Yeah, that's true. More mischance. That was buffed in the last patch as well. 20% evasion.
Yeah.
Or mischance. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe he's got a new build for us today.
Nope.
Or maybe they just misclicked. That's also a possibility.
Yeah, Meepo and Weaver, they're right next to each other. Could happen to anyone. Meant to pick Gyro, as a matter of fact.
And then when it comes to Spirit's lineup, Lifestealer again. This hero seems to be rising in popularity. Typically has been picked as GPK is going to get really low here. Typically has been picked as a counter for Sven. But we're not seeing a Sven this time around, and they pick it anyway. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, good question. Maybe their read is just that this hero is... I mean, it's good against Centaur, right? It's one of the best in lane against Centaur, so that was the part of the information that they did have access to. And the enemy 2 supports do absolutely nothing to you. So maybe he figured this is good enough. Let's put the challenge to BetBoom, try to find a counter for this hero. I guess Lifesteal against Storm is also a little bit of an oddball, because Storm, you know, he usually has freedom of who he jumps, including cores, but Lifesteal has an inherent counter that isn't one you need to buy. So, and they were anticipating the Storm pick, right? It's BetBoom and they pick Coddle. I mean, come on, what are they going to do?
True.
So
Toro has to rage away for the time being. As GPK, uh-oh, he's in a lot of trouble. Gets off the Electric Vortex, but the first blood still comes. We'll go to Mira on the support Tiny. So he talked about GPK not losing his lane, or I guess it's the games you were referencing, but he hasn't really lost lane either as the Storm, it feels like. But Laurel getting some help this time around.
Yep. And they could turn this into a bit of a snowball play, because obviously Puck will now hit level 6 first. And if you get level 4 on Mira before then, you can come in with the coil plus toss, making for a very quick second kill on the Storm.
Yep. As Miposhka gets taken out by Save in that top lane. But all eyes on Nightfall. Does he change his build? Does he stick with the status quo that we have been seeing, which turns into the eventual Mega Meepo? Last time I saw him on this patch after the Disperser nerf, I'm trying to remember if they bought Disperser anyway. Not sure.
I think he did.
Did he? Mira gets off the Ava.
Could be wrong, though.
On the run. He's going to get slowed up, though, as Nightfall. Blood Grenade applied, Earthbind as well. Should be the death of Mira. GPK there for some of the... Okay, Primal Beast collapse. Coming in to try to save his teammate, but he was way too late. Just feeds away his life to GPK.
I think this move from Collapse actually makes sense, because he was likely trading for the Maiden, and then he could have TP'd out against the Meepo or just run away, but did not expect GPK to be down there. An unexpected rotation from the level 5 Storm ruins that play. Now he's 6.
Yeah, and he's got the Invis. Coil expended. It's just for the CN. They should be able to clean up Toronto, Tokyo. But GPK gets out with the rune. Go back to farming. So yeah, it will be the defusal first for Nightfall. So eventual disperse. So I don't remember, were they upgrading that right off the bat, or I feel like there was an item in between. So Hoof Stomp does find its way onto Yatoro.
I think he'll just go Ags after, right? Maybe Blink Dagger was a thing that game. Don't remember the exact order.
Oh, actually does get clipped in the end.
Walk right back into it.
7-minute wisdom. Miposhka setting things up.
He's really on top of this. He did it with Grimstroke as well.
Oh, Save's going to run right into him, though.
He will have Blinding Light ready.
Yes, he will. Will Save dive first. 3 seconds until it's time. The dive in, there's the Blinding Light. Save does grab it. Will likely cost him his life, but well worth it.
Open to your keeper.
Oh, Mira able to get the opposite one, so it is a trade in the end.
Whoa.
Solo killed by Mira. Man, we have been seeing, I feel like this series in particular, the position ones getting dumpstered by the offlaner.
Not a kill I was expecting given the start of this lane, but
3 in double edge, so all kill build here for Miro.
This pleases the master.
We'll see how that works out for him long term, because a lot of times you want a few levels in Retaliate to be able to farm a little bit faster, but if you can get a bunch of kills, then obviously it's going to be well worth. As the Helm of Iron will be there very shortly for Miero. And GPK looks like it'll be the Orchid first, and the question is, what will Laurel go for after the Witchblade? Might be that Yule's, as the Avalanche is there. Laurel does get the Illusion Rune, though. Yeah, Mira almost done with that Veil. And I'm sure Yatoro is going for the exact same build as always. Yep, Armlet, Radiance, and then S and Y. In terms of the Infest bombs for him, the Puck is the most likely candidate. Collapse as well. See if he wants to go for a Blink a little bit earlier as a result or not. Spirit. Just thinking about going to that bot side, but we'll group up instead, and GPK will be a very hard target to take out.
Well, trying to get the Orchid as fast as possible to open up the map against especially Puck, but also a great way of killing Phoenix, of course. Feels like an overall pretty good Storm game, which you'd think Spirit would be prepared for, considering they gave it away against the team that hasn't lost with it in such a manner. I'm still curious to see what the solutions are going to be from their side. I think the rest of the bases are covered quite well, but the Storm is only really solved to an extent here by Puck, especially when GPK gets a BKB eventually. Don't really have anything to control him with. Pulverized, can't really trust landing that. But at the very least, the one kill they got him slowed him down a little bit. This early portion of the game when they did the tiny dive. Fusel about to be completed now on Nightfall. Will be quite telling what he goes for after the axe. I mean, there's no build where you don't go axe, surely, right? Like, that's just too...
I doubt it. Coil, expended. It's going to hit several targets onto BetBoom. Stampede is there. Coil not really going to be turned into much, though, as the Puck, Laurel getting really low. Phase shifts off a lot of the damage, and Miero almost finished him up, but Laurel will be finished off instead by GPK, and now Miero on the run. Fire Spirit's applied. Toronto and Tokyo is there to try to save him, but the Sunray just in range to finish the job. Turns into a 1-for-1 for now as Mira will be diving the tier 1, the Avatos into the arms of Collapse. And now this is a 4v1 scenario as the Ghoul Frenzied Yatoro shows up. Help take out the Maiden. After all that, a 1-for-2. BetBoom still probably pretty happy with that mid kill. The zipping onto Yatoro, the instant rage.
Yeah, they're probably especially happy because of how much space
Avalanche.
people got bought.
Oh, he tossed the Phoenix! Oh no, that is really unfortunate. But Poshka has no egg to work with. Meanwhile, Mira surrounded and killed. It happens sometimes.
Sometimes you're just unlucky. Imagine how good Tiny would be if Toss was, if you could choose your target.
Yeah. It used to be a random target.
Yeah.
That was miserable. Absolutely miserable.
That was a huge quality of life change for the... I don't know if you can call it quality of life. It's just flat out above, right?
It's still quality of life.
I suppose.
Wait, who do you think is happy with the state of affairs in this laning stage?
It's... Things kind of even. I think the main things that you want to come to fruition for both teams is happening. All of the cores have decent farm. The distances between them are pretty small. I would say overall, perhaps... I don't know. Like, my read on these Centaur lanes just seems so off sometimes. It's like you really thought Lifestealer was going to do better in this lane, so maybe Miero. But if this is how it's supposed to go, then he shouldn't be particularly happy, right?
Collapse getting gone on. GPK comes in, uses most of his mana to catch up. Coddle is there to try to help him in the mana department, and Collapse will die as a result. Nightfall getting the credit for that one. And GPK, Orchid, not too far away. And the question is, how many conversions will he get? How many kills onto the Puck specifically while this Orchid has its advantage?
For sure. It's the most important part of the coming 5 minutes. Orchid is about to complete if he gets this camp. Should almost have it. Save will just follow him around. The more sophisticated butler. This one is on a horse.
That makes you more sophisticated by default, huh?
Oh, yeah.
The horse is very well groomed, though.
Yeah.
So that does make sense. If it was like Abbott on horse, I don't know if that's majestic. That's just a literal dead horse. GPK, a cornucopia soon to come.
Just needs the courier to fly over there. So Orchid coming out, 13 minutes, not too bad.
Now they're going to smoke up. And this will be the Orchid reveal. The tier 1 tower will fall in favor of Spirit. Fortification comes out, but no defense will be mounted. See what they find on the top side is Spirit are going to smoke on the bottom side of the map. Could run into the Meepo in the jungle, but towards the top is where that Orchid reveal will occur, and the Lifestealer would be such a juicy target, but Yatoro, Spidey senses tingling. TP's out in time.
Is under attack.
1300 into his eventual Sacred Relic.
Dire's top tower.
Both smokes not really resulting in any kills. Nightfall will be opting for the Ags, already halfway there.
Yeah. Actually gave me an idea with our Tiny Talk earlier. If that hero ever needs a buff in some capacity, you know the toss requires no target talent?
Yeah.
What if that instead was toss vector targeted? And you select your target and then you draw where you want to toss them to. That could be like a 25 talent or a 20 talent if the hero gets too weak.
That's a pretty large vector targeted UI. I don't know if we have one that big, like Swashbuckle, because toss is really long range.
Swashbuckle is quite long too.
Not as long.
Oh, sure, but I mean that sounds like a player issue.
Okay.
Just up your mouse sensitivity. It's just a problem for you because you have CS2 settings and you're like, oh, I need to have it really fine-tuned so I can hit my op shots. You're not hitting them anyway. Just raise your sensitivity.
Wow, how would you know? Huh?
Just assuming. If I've heard you're struggling.
Yes.
You always say, I used to be good, so I'm assuming you're not good.
Yeah, that's probably true. Amira almost done with his blink. It's just the targets that stand still are the hardest to hit. If they're moving around, flying around the screen, it's easier somehow.
That was the problem Sing Sing always had on Mirana.
Oh,
actually.
yeah?
Yeah. The more people juke, the better. Because you're at a certain level of play, it becomes this mind game of people are anticipating your arrowing, so they're going to sidestep. And then a lot of the time, just running in a straight line is the best play.
You can't predict bad.
Yep. But is it bad then?
Exactly. It's a full circle.
Yeah.
Previous level plays could work out as BetBoom. They're going to run into Team Spirit. Damage rune onto GPK. Coil to follow, though. Hoofstomp's not going to be there because of the silence. And the Centaur will die. GPK might be next. Getting stunned up, finally zips away. The egg was placed high ground. Not quite enough damage to get the Storm Spirit. But Toronto Tokyo going to be greeted by Yatoro, who jumps out of Collapse, and now the focus is on Meepo. You can see the Sunray just decimating Nightfall, as now GPK completely out of mana. The double kill for Collapse, and 4 dead overall for BetBoom. As Spirit putting their stamp on this game, they will be the first ones to lead it in some meaningful capacity.
Spirit were so ready. This is the tail end of the fight here. Toronto Tokyo going to use the shortest ult of all time. Maybe not. He had it for half a second, but the jump onto the Tiny was instantly responded to by Spirit. They had all their heroes ready to go. They get the coil. They combo break the initiation from the Storm as well, who somehow found a way out of it, but ultimately will die in the very end. And Meepo showed up and didn't really do much. So this seemed like it was not the timing. And here's the other problem with Meepo. We talked about, okay, how strong is this hero really? How are the matchups? This hero is very punished when you make a mistake or two. It's not as bad as it used to be, where it's just like, okay, Meepo messed up the mid game, it's over. It's not that bad anymore. The hero scale is better. It has more potential with the Ags and stuff, but it is still, for all intents and purposes, a quite snowbally hero. So these mistakes, as I'm going to chalk that one up to from BetBoom, a little bit too quick to jump the Tiny next to his tower and then get all the heroes involved. 1 or 2 more of those and it's going to start looking really rough. Spirit's lineup scales incredibly well across the board.
Absolutely.
All 3 of their cores are monsters in late game.
Oh, GPK spotted out. Avalanche toss and destroyed. But the counter initiation is here. Maposhka's still alive. Doesn't have his egg, doesn't need it seems, as Miero getting chased by Collapse, showing off that newly picked up BKB. He picks him up just briefly with the Pulverizer. Now the Avalanche into the Sunray again with Yatoro coming to fruition, but you can see the Mega Meepo activated. The stun from the egg is there though, as Nightfall surrounded. He can fling, he can throw out Earths. No, it's not gonna matter. Earthbinds don't go through the rage any longer. Toronto What was that? What was that? Can we get a replay? That is...
We'll get a replay of the initial fight first. So this is the combo we talked about. Oil toss back. And yeah, that collapse onslaught saving the Phoenix is actually really crucial. The pulverize here is a bit of a waste, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
Oh, yeah.
All of this happens because of the onslaught. Otherwise, Phoenix is dead on the spot. But Spirit get to reset. They get to get Miposhka back in, use all of his spells. Get a beautiful sunray off.
Wait for it. And... it doesn't... As Mira, okay, this is live action GPK. All right, he's not going to die this time. Mira explodes. A little bit of a close call considering how this game is going. It's already a 9K lead
it's
for
enormous.
Spirit. My God.
Under attack.
Filth.
Yep, they're winning the fights convincingly. They're also finding the farm in between. All three of their cores are doing very well this game. And scaling is not a concern. So the problem here is, let's say BetBoom somehow comes back in this game and equalize it. You get to minute 45 or whatever. The scalability of the entirety of Spirit's lineup is huge. This is a dead maiden. They can just infest bomb. So, yeah, let's see if Miposhka finds a way out of this. Looks like it.
Indeed. Now Collapse trying to chase. Mira from the other side gets the Avatos onto Save, who will eventually fall. Wait. Nice blinding light.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Really well done.
Surprisingly enough, he gets away, but GPK using the Orchid onto Laurel, but now he's out of mana completely. Yatoro won't chase as GPK does have enough to TP.
How many late game pucks individually have we seen pop off? And how many late game primals? And this time you have both of them.
Yeah, that's true.
These heroes, when you get to this 45-minute mark and they start being 5 or 6 slotted, become true scaling carries in different ways. Like, Puck is more of a... I mean, honestly, Primal Beast can also be a monster damage dealer, but a lot of what he does is just giving tons of information at very low risk. He just walks in front, he's mega tanky, and if he has Ags, the damage can definitely be there. Puck, on the other hand, we saw Malrine in particular in one game, I want to say 2 days ago, get the Rapier and just completely take over the late game.
Oh, yeah.
Rapier and Shard. Puck is a true late game hero nowadays. Used to not be the case. Used to kind of fall off.
Those were olden days. Toronto, Tokyo inside the coil.
Freezing field.
Eventually will die.
Yeah, he did it.
All right. Well
but he waited too long. If you did it earlier, he would have killed the whole wave. But he waited. Like, am I really gonna do this? And then he does it as the bus is coming in.
It seems the first time gave him a little bit of PTSD, perhaps. But
I was gonna say he's learning, but this was worse.
What's the opposite of learning?
Going old.
Oh, that's definitely not the opposite.
He's olding.
Okay.
Mira
infested now, so another Blink Dagger infest bomb potential.
Yoink.
Gets a nice little courier for his
an
trouble.
Eagle song.
Oh yeah, you're right. So that was going to be the disperser. Well, he still doesn't have the recipe, I suppose, but yeah, that's 3K net worth essentially missing from BetBoom's side. So in some ways, it's I couldn't do the math there for a second. 12K lead, Cinderin.
Because
the Eagle song is on the courier and it's dead.
Okay. Do you think it's worth its weight in gold until it's a disperser?
No, it's not.
Well, there might also be some dead gold on the side of Spirit, so it might even out. But yeah, this lead is quite monstrous.
But we've seen crazier comebacks at this tournament. It seems to be the meta of crazy.
What's a crazier comeback than if BetBoom win this?
Save. Okay, he's spotted.
Shannon, answer the question.
What did you say?
What's a crazier comeback than if BetBoom win this? You can't just say we've seen crazier comebacks and then have 0 up your sleeve when it sounds like you have more than 1. All right, we have not seen crazier comebacks than this, ladies and gentlemen. This would be a crazy comeback for BetBoom.
Well, we've seen
truly the craziest comeback of the tournament if they do this. None have actually actually come close to this.
We've seen crazy.
Easily the most down a
We've
team
seen-
has been.
Well, here's the thing. I don't remember the games from yesterday, for God's sake. I don't remember anything. Okay? That's what part of being old.
Yeah, that's the opposite of learning.
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly. Is me.
Dire's top tower
Thanks.
is under attack.
Wow. A moment ago
Roche.
you said it was not the opposite.
The Roche will go the way.
So maybe it isn't. You did learn something.
That's true. That is kind of counterintuitive.
Paradoxical, if you will. This Roche is very dead. Yatoro will be grabbing a nice second life that he probably doesn't need unless he gives it to Laurel. Nope. He will take it for himself.
Oh,
Oh, boy.
Trying to farm. He dies.
He is farming more death timer.
Yeah, this has snowballed to a point where it might be too hard to come back.
Yeah, but we've seen crazier comebacks.
Well, we have. I just don't remember them. Like, you know that you've seen something. You just don't, it's like a movie. Like, oh, I think I've seen that. Yeah, I don't really remember it, but
No, that's my secret. I don't think I've seen that movie.
because you haven't seen movies.
There
That's
you go.
the difference.
That's the
See,
secret.
I remember seeing movies, but not what they were. You see?
What's worse?
Their face.
That's actually a very good
That's
retort
Team
there.
Spirit have 11K lead. I mean, BetBoom are not letting this snowball more than this for the time being, and they get the disperser finally.
Yay!
So they're able to keep the net worth deficit around the same mark.
Meepo is hitting his peak. Unfortunately, his peak is lower than the peak of 3 enemy heroes in this game. But you have to...
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so Storm with the BKB, how do you initiate a fight? Like, what's the target? I think Storm has to go on... Man, it's tough. Both of the enemy heroes that I was going to suggest, both have Yules, and I don't think he can solo kill them before they Yule, the Phoenix or the Puck. And who's going to jump with him? So maybe Storm plus Centaur somehow found an opening together on Phoenix or on the Puck. They burst one of those, and then Meepo can come in for the cleanup crew. If you open on any of the strength heroes, I think it's going to end pretty poorly. So you need to be very selective how you approach the fights.
Oh, Mira showing a lot of restraint there. I thought that was maybe a kill. And Spirit going to try to use this Aegis to go high ground. As there's the Avalanche and the toss back right into the arms of Yatoro, who rips save a new one. There's the buyback though. There's GPK. Okay, Miero gets a nice hook stomp onto 2, but the Pulverize comes through. Sunray as well, just decimating. Yatoro has to jump out of the Mira target. Toronto Tokyo getting trampled down in the meantime. BKB already used for collapse, so not sure if Spirit want to continue on here.
Not too bad for BetBoom, given the circumstances. Wouldn't call it a win, but they're at least buying time against this Aegis.
And he actually did buy the open wounds shard. I don't know. They just have so many answers for the Meepo. I'm trying to understand it still, what the purpose of this hero is this game. And so far, the Sunray has done exactly what we thought it would.
Yeah.
It is owned. And Maposhka, of course, with the shard.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And once Collapse gets this Aghanim Scepter, although he just bought a Blink, it looks like. Aghanim Scepter will be next.
BetBoom, you're losing your base. Do you want to...
They are.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Just trying to get a
attack.
little bit of extra farm.
Okay, they're not defending. This tower was not worth it.
Has fallen.
And maybe not the barracks either.
Radiant's
I mean, if
middle
you're just
barracks
giving
are
that
under
tower up for free and you're not close to a key item, you're giving...
Pulverized GPK is dead, and that's no buyback. 50 seconds as Yatoro just bulldozing down.
Dire's bottom tower
So
is
second
under
game in a row that BetBoom have no answer for this lifestealer, it seems.
Radiant's
Even less
middle
so this
barracks
time
are under
around.
attack.
Yatoro will get the full lane of racks at 27.5 minutes. This is shaping up to be a really fast game, which doesn't really align with how this patch has
Radiant
felt so far in this
structures are
tournament.
fortified.
The secret
Just shows how much
sauce
they're up by
Structures are fortified.
is for the enemy team to pick
Radiant's
Meepo.
bottom tower is
in
under
a
Apparently.
non-Meepo game. Yeah.
I mean, there's been other issues with this one for sure. Things just went very south very fast for BetBoom.
Are they just giving up 2 lanes completely? They are not even... Man, how dejected are they? Toss back, pulverize. That's the death of Miero. I mean, normally if a team's going to give up racks in this fashion, they could just call it GG, but...
Or at least, at the very least, they don't die around the map at the same time.
Yeah,
Now they're losing Rex and, of course, nice freezing field not used there.
Wow.
So
This is...
it was the crystal clone.
If you were covering up the names, like what team this was, I would tell you that this team is not tier 1 from this one game. They have not looked good at all so far.
Yeah, it should be in the Guess the MMR game with Lacoste.
Yeah, literally. This is so bad. Jeez. Spirit just getting everything they want. 2 lanes completely theirs.
Looks like they just broke them with that last game somehow.
I guess so.
It's, yeah, not really much good to write home about. The only thing that really came online in this game was GPK. And even he didn't have that great of a game compared to what he could have. Spirit just kind of broke them in the draft,
Arrow
it feels
shows himself for a brief moment, but now gets tossed out of the coil into destruction. 2 dead for BetBoom as they approach for eventual megas.
like. Is this game going to end without BetBoom taking a team fight
It
for
might.
a single barrack?
Legitimately might, as a Midas is purchased by Toronto Tokyo. Are they trolling? I don't understand.
He's just laughing, okay?
All right, well, at least their
belts of
spirits are
strength.
high. I mean, again, for this, BetBoom still is going to remain in second place right now, as Mega Creeps will eventually come.
There's the
And
team fight.
Yep, there it is, and Meepo's getting destroyed. Gets the Mega Meepo off, though. Earthbind onto several heroes, and GGs are called. What the fuck was this game? What? Was this a game of Dota? I don't understand what I just watched. What did we just witness?